Leeds United are set for a pretty damn big clash against Fulham in the Premier League this afternoon, and honestly, a lot of people are looking at this with the opinion that Leeds might be in a little bit of trouble. Fulham are up in ninth, they're on a decent unbeaten run. I think it's 6 matches in the league now, so they could potentially cause us some problems. However, I think there are some underlying metrics and stuff that lean more in our direction than Fulham's that are fairly important, and I'm going to let you guys know about them, our predicted lineup, in addition to how we need to play in order to get something out of this game. Now, I would just like to clear up. Normally, I like doing little lineup graphics and tactics boards and stuff like that. However, I've got a baby in my arms right now and I've got one hand free. That's why I've only been gesturing with the one, so I won't be able to do all the graphicy stuff because that gets a little bit complicated. Also, if you hear some like bottle sucky noises, she's currently feeding, so I'm going to call it a talent I can do with one hand, basically. But yeah, let's dive into it. So a lot of people look at Fulham at the moment and they think, oh, they're going to be a problem for us because they're unbeaten in 6 in the league. They've won 4 of those, 2 draws. But I had a little bit of a deeper look. I had a little bit of a look in the underlying numbers, and this mainly stemmed from the fact that I had a look at their underlying numbers across the entire season. And I saw that their expected goal difference is currently minus 5.4. And I was like, okay, cool. That's sure, they should be conceding more goals than they're scoring, but that happens for a lot of sides. How does that compare to Leeds? Leeds' current expected goal difference is minus 0.9, which is very interesting, and it shows that it looks like one of the two teams is underperforming, and to be clear, it's our defence. We are conceding more goals than we should be. But there is a clear overperformance on the Fulham side, and I was trying to dive into where that is. So I looked at those last 6 games, and I was like, well, they've not lost, so clearly they must be playing quite well. According to the XG, they had less XG than Burnley in their match against them, less XG than Palace in their match. Same against Liverpool, same against Chelsea, and they've come out of this somehow without losing a single game of football. Across those 6 matches, they should have conceded 9.6, so we'll say 10 goals, and they should have scored 8.6, we'll say 9. Instead, they've scored one more goal than they should have, and they've conceded 3 fewer than they should have, so there's clearly something in terms of luck going on here. It's not all skill, and I mean, it is a little bit skill. It's the case of Harry Wilson takes the ball and just twats it in the top corner. But it's not all tactical. It's the underlying stuff is not working in their favour in the way that it could be working in our favour, and that's where I think Leeds have a big opportunity. I'll get into what Leeds can do in a minute, but we also need to note that Leno is also underperforming in terms of they're conceding fewer goals than they should be. It's not even a case of because the goalkeeper's been playing incredibly well. It's a case of because strikers are missing the chances against Fulham. And the fact that that is happening consistently says that there's an opportunity there for Leeds. So, when it comes to the starting lineup of this one, there's a little bit of an interesting spanner thrown in the works. And that spanner comes in the shape of the fact that Wacko has been doing its thing. Wacko, a lot of the time, is just a load of people shouting him to avoid. Hold on. Got a bit of a cold. But there are some people in there that you can reasonably trust to get some things right. Specifically, there was a little bit of conversation around a bit of an injury worry relating to Jakob and Anton Stack. I don't personally think that this will change the way that we line up. It won't change our shape. It won't change anything like that. But I think it's interesting to note because Biol has been pretty damn good since he came into the 3 at the back system. In a 4 at the back, he's not great. But with 3 at the back, Biol has been impeccable. No complaints, to be completely honest with you. And Anton Stack in recent weeks has also picked it up a little bit. He's starting to take control of the midfield a little bit more. So those are 2 presences that I think we'll relatively miss. When it comes to the lineup, I think we start with. I'm gonna do the controversial thing here that a lot of people don't like it when I do. I'm not in favour of chucking a goalkeeper out after they make a mistake. Because for me, out of our last match in the league against Newcastle, Perry was responsible for 1 goal. I'm not going to throw a goalkeeper to the Wolves after that. Yeah, sure, he was also responsible for the one against Man United, but 2 mistakes is not enough to say, get rid. I personally would keep starting Perry on a final warning basis, where, like, if anything else goes wrong, sure, out you pop, bring in Darlow. But I don't think we're at that stage yet. Centre-backs, Strauch, obviously. Rodon, obviously. I think you go with Bornau as that sort of additional option because you kind of have to. And then wing-backs, you probably go Bogle and Gudmundsson, mainly because I don't know if Justin outperforms Bogle in terms of what we would need in this match. I think we need someone who is able to bomb down the wing and just be an absolute terror for our opponents. Justin is more defensively solid, but you could go either way on that one. I see an argument for both. In midfield, I think you go Ampadu, I think you go Tanaka, and then Tanaka bringing that little bit of creativity, which is always quite nice to have. And then front line of Aronson, Okafor, and Calvert-Lewin. Buonanotte, I imagine, will be on the bench. I don't think he's had enough time with the squad yet to start, but he could play a big role off the bench or going forwards, depending on how things go here. When it comes to how we win this, I had a little bit of a deeper look into why they were scoring more goals than they should. And there's two players behind it, to be completely honest with you. One of them being Alex Iwobi, who has scored one more goal than he should have this season based on the chances created. And then Harry Wilson, who has scored 3 more goals than he's been expected to based on XG and chance creation and all those kind of underlying numbers that people called me a little bit of an idiot for listening to. The step one of what we need to do is, and I'm very, very sorry for Ethan Ampadu for doing this to his friend, but we need to shut down Harry Wilson and we need to do it hard. If he's playing on the flank, double up on him. If he's playing on the inside, get Ampadu on him and just stick to him and cause him problems. Because Harry Wilson is where they will get plenty of goals and it will cause us some significant issues. Do the same for Iwobi, sure. But Wilson is the big threat. In my opinion, he can create, he can score. Ultimately, if we don't shut him down, he'll lead some pretty big issues. In terms of the rest of the game, we need to win the midfield because that midfield battle is where we tend to thrive. I think we lost against Newcastle when we sort of yielded that midfield. And it became a bit more end-to-end and a bit more chaotic. And whereas last season we thrived in the chaos, this season a little bit of order is what we need a significant amount of the time. And what I think is potentially the most important thing on this list is be clinical. If Calvert-Lewin can get shots on target and make Bernd Leno work, if Brendan Aronson can stick to his frankly fantastic finishing that we've had in recent weeks, then we're looking pretty good. If we can make them think, if we can make them work, if we can put some shots on target, then we could get plenty of mistakes from the other side here. And that could ultimately be what makes the difference between a point or 3 points. Because it's Elland Road. I'm not going to predict that we lose this one, because that's how Elland Road works. Because we're pretty damn good there, and we're pretty damn good recently. And I think there's definitely something in this for Leeds United. But we need to be clinical, we need to run the midfield, and we need to stop their danger men from causing any danger. I think we can do that. I'm fairly sure we will do that, and I'm ultimately looking forward to this one. I'm going to predict something along the lines of a 2-1 to Leeds United. Why not? You might as well. Let me know what you predict in the comments down below. Pop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not yet. All that fun kind of stuff. Hope you enjoyed. And I will see you specifically over on Big Up. Yes. Shout the word pigeon in Joe's chat over on Big Up if you head over. It's going to be a good time. I'll leave a link in the description. It's going to be nice. I'll be there before the match and at halftime. It's just a nice, chill watch along. It's a good vibe, building a good community over there. So, yeah, hope you all enjoyed. I will see you later. And let's just beat Fulham, shall we?